we want unconditional acceptance, we want love. And we want people to appreciate for what we are. I don't want, that my mother likes me for reaching an X position in the corporate, or for example, earning a particular figure of salary, or going to the best university, and not the other side of me, which is me, Rajita, which is failed, which has also made mistakes, which is fallen down so many times and still got up. I want to be accepted as a whole. So I think it's very important for us to think that this is what it is all about, children. It's about me knowing that, okay, my mother or my father, they are there, whatever I do. It's not about, okay, he will be or she will be happy only if I kind of get that level, or go there or achieve that. So, and then when I reflect on my own self, sometimes of course I slip as a parent, where I would want him to score maybe 98%, or I would want him to kind of behave in a particular preconceived concepts that I am carrying as a person, that my child should be be fitting in this one. And when he does not, then I'm disappointed. And the kind of life that I am now, kind of a pursuit of knowledge that I have chosen is also called Mahayan Buddhism. And one of my teachers, in the class said, a little story about apples, and it was about parenting. And the teacher is very highly kind of, accomplished in her knowledge, and she's been traveling around the world and meeting greatest masters and all. And she said, it's like an apple. You keep one apple, the second one, the one apple stays, the second one stays, the third one stays, the fourth one stays, the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh falls. It's the same thing in parenting. Today they listen to me when they are 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years, 5 years. But what happens when they grow up in this? Suddenly, the tables are turned and they say, no, I'm going to do that. And then we feel, oh my God, my son is not listening to me. What happened? I had all the control. I'm losing the control. I have lost the control. And that's certain. That day has to come. We have no control, actually, if you see. Absolutely. And I'm glad that I kind of realized this, and I'm conscious, and that's how I'm actually bringing up my 2 boys. And as far as possible, I try and spread this message across that this is how we should be. Setting very high expectations is fine. Everybody wants to go to Harvard and everybody wants to reach the sky. But we have to be conscious about what our babies can do. They are human beings. And I definitely would want to read something which is very, very close to my heart. It's about something that I read at times when I feel too attached or too I want to control my voice. Your children are, this is a poem by Khalil Gibran on children. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of lives longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. Yes. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You must strive to be like them. But seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backward, nor carries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is still. Thank you.
I just wanted to share a bit of an international perspective. I love this parenting topic, and I'm not going to take us anywhere else, but I just wanted to share it from Australia. But there's a huge conscious parenting movement that's emerging as a result of awakened parents rejecting labels. For the last 15 years, I've worked in autism and all levels of Asperger's syndrome and the spectrum. And we now have satellite schools happening all around the country where we are co-parenting and co-creating communities that are based on conscious parenting and also homeschooling. I don't think this is necessarily the only way to go, but I find it really interesting that this is where Australia's moving at the moment, because we not only observe the need for us to be conscious parents, but also making a value decision about our educational system, and perhaps that's not the most supportive environment. So I think it's interesting to look at this topic and see what systems we need to engage in, how we can engage in them effectively, not necessarily reject them altogether, but know that there are global movements rumbling of people who are becoming awakened and really wanting to serve this for their children. And I have a 5-year-old who's autistic and I have a 7-year-old who's full of sparkle. And every day I celebrate what each of them can do instead of what they can't. And I made a decision that the school system where I am, in a very small country town in rural South Australia, that I didn't have options that I would have had in the cities for her as an educator. So I then now chose to homeschool her. And that then made me realise that there are parents who are actually making this conscious choice. So this ponders a question in a wonderful global forum that this is, to say, where is our education and our healthcare system within this conscious parenting movement? And I truly believe that this is the future, not just of parenting, but of every single one of these infrastructures that are represented on a government level, on a country level. And I'm excited about so many people being in this room and about all of us caring so much, and maybe we can leave this with some form of leadership and influence, and not forget the labels that are being placed upon our children, because it's not just us needing to be awakened and heal our own wounds, it's also about us taking away this label and celebrating what our kids can do instead of what they can't.
So to add on that, I would like to talk about advocacy for your child, because I think that I have a 6-year-old, I have 3 children, and he's my youngest, and the school and there's many people who are pressuring me constantly to try to get him under control, and I'm constantly having to advocate for him without trying to be his voice, and so it's always trying to find out who exactly they are and being their ambassador in a way, but you're not necessarily them. And I think that that's a big part of it, especially when you have children who are dealing with difficult circumstances. I tend to believe that my child is actually just a math genius, and so I treat it like that. I'm like, he is not the problem, he's just not able to confine himself to this system. And so it's really about giving them that freedom of defining who they are and then fighting for them to be allowed to be that. And I think that that's very important. So great points.
I think what I need to add as well is that we need to be mindful of how we talk to our children. Especially sometimes we say things flippantly. Oh, you stupid girl. Oh, you stupid boy. And do you know that word stays there? And when you repeat this word 1, 2, 3 times, it becomes they believe they are stupid. And it becomes their identity as well. So it's so important for parents, because you might think, it's just a simple word. But you forget that this child is still growing up and making up and trying to find his space, his or her space. And for us parents, they always believe in us. They believe in parents. So what comes out of parents' mouth stays in their head. Because if my mom thinks I'm stupid, obviously I'm stupid. And if my mom believes that my mom dad believes that I'm smart, I must be a smart guy. So we have to be mindful of the things we say and how we say it. And if we, for one reason or the other, mention that word and you realize immediately, you must bring back your child to you and sit down with this child and say, oh, mommy was in such and such extent. I'm sorry for what mommy, because one thing we tend to forget, we keep thinking that if we say sorry to our children, we've belittled ourselves. No, it's not. When you say sorry to your children, that's when your children believe that you're actually human. Because we must show, if tears are coming down in front of from your eyes in front of your children, let it come down. Because that's where they believe, oh, mom is human. Mom, yes, there's human to human, spirit to spirit. So it's very, very important. Let us not shield away when we're upset or when we have failed, we go at the corner and hide away so that they don't see us that we failed. Let them see, because then they believe that, yes, if mom can fail and bring up herself, I can fail and bring up myself. I think it's so important.
Well, I only came to support my friend. Well, I'm so glad I came because it talks to all of us, from mothers, parents. When you said about your daughter and your daughter and the other one, my son, when he was very young, extremely interested in everything my husband did. And my husband is a biochemist. He was professor, so he got all these notes. Important paper, don't touch, don't touch. Daddy, what is this, etc. So I thought, my God, he's going to become a scientist. This probably was my desire, but I probably was feeling it because he was very good in science. And said to me, oh, don't get me like that. I'm not going to become a scientist. No, scientists, they're all poor. I'm going to do something that I'm going to become rich, etc. So my husband is very wise. He said to me, just find me someone. So we started talking about when he was 14 or something like that. You wouldn't believe it. Years later, he just didn't know what to do. A-levels, he had 7 A-levels, because he's very clever. He just took many, because he wanted to have his, he wanted to do history of science, he wanted to do just history. And he wants to do, anyway, it's craziness, something mathematics. Many subjects, because he doesn't know what to do. He's kind of lost, and we still didn't say anything. And then we went on holiday to Canada, and he was watching a documentary. This is God's truth. And he was looking at the cells going round and round, whatever it was, about cancer or something. He came to me and said to me, Mom, don't tell Daddy anything, but I want to become a scientist. I think I want to do biochemistry. Biochemistry? I said, you haven't taken a day of biology. So he took a year off to do 3 years biology. Then he did biochemistry. Not only biochemistry, he did cell biochemistry, and he got first class honors. Then all doors were open, and he chose Cambridge to make his PhD. And he worked with a Nobel laureate who was doing biochemistry in Santa Cruz University. So the crazy thing is, just because I listened to my husband, it can work the other way around. They want to be, but they pretend they don't want to be. So then because I listened to my husband and I left him alone, he found his way. Not only did he find it's glorious, he's got a glorious job now and doing excellent work. He's got almost some cure for some other alternative medicine for cancer. Whatever it is. Now my daughter is the other way around. She was doing English literature and drama. She's crazy about theater studies. She was in theater everywhere. I just thought I'll give her advice. I said, there is so much competition in theater. You will not get anywhere. People are very good in English, very good at writing, good English. So she did one module of theater and then left it. In her adult life, she said to me, Mom, you know how you said to me, I've always regretted it. She went to school while she was working to become an actress, proper actress. The determination she had, I cried when I saw it. 6 to 10 every day going to school, and all Saturdays of her life for, I don't know, 20 Saturdays, I think, school, nothing else. I mean, she was a social being, she sacrificed everything, and she did, and then she did, and I fully supported them with tears in my